than Ronaldo, but destroyed his own career. Stop scrolling. Because this story is not about a normal footballer. This is about a player who had more raw talent than most legends. A player who could embarrass defenders with ease. A player who was supposed to dominate world football. But instead, he became one of the biggest what-if stories in history. This is the story of Antonio Cassano. Close your eyes for a second and imagine growing up with nothing. No father, no money, no structure, just survival. That was Cassano's childhood in Bari. Raised by a single mother, life was never easy. The streets were loud, chaotic, and unforgiving. But in the middle of all that chaos, Cassano found something. A ball. And when the ball touched his feet, everything changed. He wasn't like the other kids. He didn't play safe. He didn't follow rules. He played with imagination, with arrogance, with something that looked almost like rebellion. While other kids tried to learn the game, Cassano was already rewriting it. At just 17 years old, he got his chance. His debut for Bari wasn't just another young player introduction. It was an explosion. In 1999, facing Inter Milan, one of the strongest teams in Italy, Cassano did something unforgettable. A long ball came flying toward him. He controlled it perfectly. In one movement, he beat his defender. Then another. And then calmly finished. No panic. No hesitation. Just pure instinct. That goal didn't just win a match. It changed his life forever. Overnight, he became the future of Italian football. And when talent like that appears, the giants always come. In 2001, Cassano signed for AS Roma. Big money. Big expectations. Big pressure. But Cassano didn't care about pressure. On the pitch, he was magic. He could dribble past players like they weren't there. He could create chances out of nothing. He could turn a normal game into something unforgettable. Fans loved him. But inside the club, things were different. Because genius always comes with a price. Cassano was unpredictable. He argued with coaches. He skipped training. He said things he shouldn't say. He did things he shouldn't do. And slowly, his reputation began to change. Not just a genius, but a problem. Still, talent like his is impossible to ignore. And in 2006, the biggest stage in football called his name. Real Madrid. This was it. The dream. The moment every player waits for. The white shirt. The Santiago Bernabeu. The chance to become a legend. But sometimes, the biggest opportunity in your life can also be the moment everything starts to fall apart. Cassano arrived in Madrid, but not in the best condition. Physically, he wasn't ready. Mentally, he wasn't focused. And in a club like Real Madrid, that's a problem. Discipline is everything. And Cassano had none. He gained weight. He clashed with managers. He struggled to adapt. The Spanish media started mocking him. Fans lost patience. And slowly, the dream turned into a nightmare. Think about that for a moment. A player with world-class talent, standing in the biggest club in the world, and still failing. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because he couldn't control himself. After Madrid, many people thought it was over. That his career was done. Finished. Wasted. But football sometimes gives second chances. And Cassano took his at Sampdoria. This is where something changed. For the first time, he looked calm. He looked happy. He formed an incredible partnership with Gianpaolo Pizzini. Together, they were unstoppable. Cassano wasn't just playing well. He was enjoying football again. The creativity came back. The confidence came back. The magic came back. People started to believe again. Maybe he wasn't finished. Maybe this was the real Cassano. And for a moment, it really felt like it. His performances earned him a place in the Italy national team. He played in major tournaments. He contributed. He showed maturity. Something that had been missing for years. Then came another big move. AC Milan, one of the most iconic clubs in history. And this time, Cassano delivered. He helped Milan win the league. He created chances. He played with intelligence. Not just talent. For a moment, everything finally made sense. But life doesn't always follow the script. In 2011, everything changed. Cassano suffered a serious health problem. A heart condition. Suddenly, football didn't matter anymore. His career, his dreams, everything was at risk. He had to undergo surgery. And for the first time in his life, the game was no longer in his control. Imagine that. A player who always played without fear. Now facing something he couldn't dribble past. Something he couldn't outplay. Reality. He survived. He came back. But he was different. Not weaker, but changed. More aware. More human. He continued playing. For clubs like Inter Milan and Parma. And sometimes, you could still see it. That spark. That genius. That unpredictable magic. But it wasn't consistent anymore. Just flashes. Moments. Memories of what could have been. And slowly, without drama, without headlines, his career faded away. Antonio Cassano didn't retire as a legend. He didn't dominate football for years. He didn't reach his full potential. But that's exactly why his story matters. Because not every story is about success. Some stories are about wasted potential, about choices, about discipline, about the difference between talent and greatness. Cassano once admitted himself, "I wasted my talent." And maybe that's the most honest thing any footballer has ever said. Because here's the truth. Talent can open the door. But discipline is what keeps you inside. And that's why Antonio Cassano's story isn't just about football. It's about life. About how close you can be to greatness and still lose it. So next time you feel like skipping the hard work, next time you feel like talent is enough, remember this story. Because not everyone who is gifted becomes great. And sometimes, the biggest failure is not trying your best.